Okay, I did some stuff off camera. I think it's looking okay. I think it's coming along. It's coming along fine. I need to put on setting powder, but first I want to keep going about what I was saying. Edna. Edna is a great character. I think Edna is really funny and eccentric, and I really appreciate that in her character because she's so refreshing as a character, and I don't know. I'm geeking. Why did I write down, does Mr. Incredible have bipolar? What? So, something that I haven't quite looked up yet in the universe of The Incredibles is if those superheroes actually died because of capes or if those superheroes died because of syndrome. Whenever she's like, no capes, because this superhero died, and this superhero died, and all of these superheroes died. I really feel like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they died because of syndrome and all of that. I'll have to look into that later. But she's telling Mr. Incredible because he's like, I want a cape so bad. No, you don't get a cape. You don't deserve a cape. The audio quality on this is probably going to be terrible because I'm recording on my iPhone. And I don't know how that's going to go or how that's going to be, but we'll figure it out. He goes back to the island. Mr. Incredible does. And I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was whenever she was just like, oh, I want you back here. I can't remember why he went back. But he goes back to the island, nonetheless. And then Syndrome reveals himself and then tries to kill Mr. Incredible for realsies. And Mr. Incredible is really highly indestructible because no way that you jumped off of an entire waterfall, plummeted, my organs would already be shattered. My bones would already be shattered, organs destroyed. But after all of that, he ends up, like, Syndrome ends up, like, he's like, he takes this bomb thing off of his arm, and he's like, try this one on, bad boy, or no, big boy, I think he says big boy, and he, like, throws it, like, wistfully into the lake, at the bottom where Mr. Incredible jumped off to save himself. And so it ends up blowing up underwater, sends him into the cave, and he finds a skeleton. The scene was always so scary to me, but it never made sense as a kid. But now that I'm older, I'm like, that's so cool. He ends up finding Gazerbeam, the guy who went missing. And Gazerbeam was one of his old buddies and everything. But he finds the bones of Gazerbeam. And he's so confused. Gazerbeam has a power where he can, like, you know, laser, you know. And so Mr. Incredible ends up looking where Gazerbeam was looking, and Gazerbeam left a hint behind for something very important. And he wrote into the stone of the cave, Kronos, from where he was looking. And so Mr. Incredible remembers that, of course. And now that he knows that that island is not safe and not good, and that Mirage was, you know, trying to lure him there and everything, he's like, well, time to do some snooping around, because, you know, why wouldn't you? I don't know why I wrote midlife crisis. I suppose that goes along with it all, though, is that, like, Mr. Incredible, this is his midlife crisis, and this is a very excellent portrayal of a midlife crisis, because he's trying to relive glory days instead of settling down. And it all goes back to the beginning in the interviews where he was like, you know, I'd like to settle down and start a family. And then he just hates his family. And then opposite to Elastigirl. Elastigirl is happy with the life that she's made with the family, and she's happy with being settled down. But Mr. Incredible is very unhappy with not being able to relive those glory days. And so he takes basically every worst possible option into attempting to relive those days. I feel like I'm very far away. Like, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Hold on. I also reminded myself of that, like, clip of, hold on. Hey friends, that clip of Mr. Peabody where he's like, dong 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 dong. This is uncanny. Mr. Incredible turning uncanny. Balls. Under that, I just wrote balls. I don't know if y'all can see that, or if it's gonna be balls. The reason why I wrote that is because there's this scene where he tries to sneak into the back, and I want to say, I have a very bad memory, but I have a good enough memory to like something and to rant about something, even if I don't have the qualifications to do so. He sneaks into this the back area of this like lava thing that opens up, and he finds his way through there, and whenever he does that, he finds this giant supercomputer, and it's like password up on the top, and he has to enter a password, and he's like, Kronos. So he enters Kronos, and that actually ends up being right, and he's like, I want to know how Gazerbeam knew that though, and how he knew that was the thing to write. Maybe he had also found out. Maybe Gazerbeam had also, found the Kronos files beforehand. But also, how did he know? Anyways, Gazerbeam's the gut for leaving that for Mr. Incredible. But he ends up typing in the password, and it just shows the Kronos files, which is basically Syndrome's like little diary of who all he's killed, superhero-wise and everything. I'm taking my hair down. It's still wet. But it's basically Syndrome's little diary of like all of his robots and the different models that have killed different supers. And that's probably one of the most peak cinematic scenes ever, because the music going along with it is so like anxiety inducing, really, and I appreciate it so much. I love it. Such a freaky scene, such a good scene in cinematography. I'm yapping, and I feel like I don't have the qualifications to yap about this, but I'm still doing it, because why not? So I think I like balls. Whenever he's leaving that area and everything, it's like a cut back and forth thing, because Mrs. Incredible, she ends up finding one of Mirage's hairs on Mr. Incredible's suit and everything, and so she's like, he's cheating, and she goes to Edna to talk to her because she sees that the old suit was also patched up. And so she goes to Edna during this time period and is like crying to her and all of these different things about like, oh, my husband, oh. And Edna's like, you are Elastigirl, pull yourself together. And so during that time is the exact same time where Edna's like, I have a bunch of suits that I've created for your entire family, even though supers aren't allowed to do anything. She still created suits for each and every one of the family members, and they all have trackers for the other suits. And so even though Elastigirl doesn't really know where Mr. Incredible is, now she can. And so the tracker ends up sending out a signal on his suit or something, and it's like a beep, and no matter how quiet he was, the intruder alert stuff starts going off, and it's like, intruder, intruder, intruder. And this scene, it's so good. All kinds of lights start turning on, and it's like doo 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 doo. And in this scene, it's so back and forth and very ASMR. All of the scenes start like flashing from these like cannons that come out of the walls and everything, and Mr. Incredible is on this stretch of like a platform and everything, and he's looking around like, what the shit is going on? Cannons start firing these big black balls, and I mean it, like giant. They look like boba. They look like little boba, tapioca balls, but they're giant, and they keep swelling up and sticking to him. And it all just like comes at him This is terrible. It all just starts hitting him at once and everything, all of these, different things, and they get so big, that it, like, suffocates him, and you can see, like, Mirage walking towards him and everything, and then they hold him captive in this, like, room where he's in this, like, YMCA pose. Syndrome's there, Mirage is there, and after all of this, on the other side of the world, wherever, Mrs. Incredible is, she's like, okay, I'm gonna take a plane of my old buddies and I'm gonna go to this island and investigate. Well, the kids, happen to stow away on board. That doesn't end up very good because Syndrome ends up getting the transmission request to land, and so that ends up being really, really bad in the long run because, they find out that, hey, that's his people trying to come and save him. Even if he doesn't know that it's Elastigirl yet, he still knows, like, hey, that's his wife, and his kids. And so Syndrome takes down the plane by using a whole bunch of land missiles, to target the plane. And so, by Mr. Incredible's knowledge, his family's dead. His family's done. His family's gone. And so he threatens to kill Mirage whenever he gets a hold of her. He's like, I'm gonna crush her like a toothpick. And Syndrome's so scary, honestly. He's like, try it. But he knew that Mr. Incredible was the good guy, so he wouldn't do it and everything, so he didn't. But then Mirage, she kind of feels bad for him, and it's a little too late for that now. I'm gonna set my face, because I can feel everything. I can feel it all. I'll be right back.